not even.
Oh, Crown. I thought you said the first conference. They're like, yeah, you
Jesus,
get a
like, oh, I'm so
bottle,
excited. We get a
bottle
bottle
of
of
Crown. I'm
Crown.
like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we walked by the booth and he's
It's a
like,
can.
here you go. I'm like, I'm gonna punch you. Punch you so hard. You gotta get a crayon next to it.
Sometimes the last minute that feels like the longest. Sit and watch and watch.
Yeah.
What did they ever do before Apple died? It's not accurate though.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting, our first meeting in 2025, call our meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark, that this meeting be opened at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Before we proceed, I would like to offer congratulations to the Rustic Escape who received the Canadian Choice Award for farm in Bonnfield. And I think congratulations is in order from a township for doing a very good job of bringing that to our municipality.
That's great.
Okay, next up go the adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor McGuinness, second by Councillor Corbett, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 14th day of January 2025 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Adoption of the previous minutes, moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Featherstone, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of December 10th, 2024 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have presentations and delegations. Of course, there's none. Staff reports. The report from CAO, from the CAO regarding the e-scribe agreement. Do you have a report?
I do. So, in 2023, the staff worked on did research for a new agenda software program because we were having recurring problems with the program that we currently have. And I think there were a few months where we did actual PDF ones for everyone because of that. We did try to work with the company that we had. They've upgraded as well, but we also spoke to other firms. So eScribe, the firm that we did speak to, they have a much better package in their agenda. So they do the agenda, they do the motions and the minutes, so everything is connected. So we we did talk last year about that, but when we went to cancel agenda notes, we required a 1-year termination period. So that is up in February. So we'd like to enter into the agreement with eScribe, and then in February, we'll start to use that eScribe. So they did give us a bit of a discount for talking to them in December of 2024. So our recommendation is that we move forward with the agreement for eScribe.
Okay, any questions? No? Moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McGuinness. The council authorizes the agreement and agenda services from eScribe in 2025 for the subscription fee of $5,900. And I'd like to acknowledge that we do have an attendee at our council meeting tonight. Good evening, Leanne.
I could have just stayed, no. All in favor? Carry the motion?
Okay. The motion here.
Yes.
Which,
All in favor?
okay, all in favor, carried. So next we have a report from the CAO with respect to employee workplace training.
I'm going to read this one because got lost in the last one. So council requested the CEO obtain a quote from the firm that the township uses the HR consulting services, Pasco and Associates, on the workplace behaviors and standards for 2025. Its annual training that we typically do in 2024, we just met as a group and went through our policies. The training would be mandatory for all municipal employees in all departments. So we did receive the proposal. There are two-hour sessions. The first session would be facilitated with all township staff in the afternoon. The second session would be facilitated with the firefighters in the fire department in the evening. So this would be on a Monday. The training would cover the topics just regarding the objectives, then incivility in the workplace, incivility and bad behavior impacts of the incivility on employees and organizations, workplace violence, bullying, and harassment review of governing legislation, including the Ontario Human Rights Code, definitions based on legislation and the township's policies, perception and harassment, microaggressions, what they are and responding to them, consequences, workplace consequences, legal consequences, and of course, then there's progressive discipline, and establishing a respectful workplace reporting and response and individual responsibilities. A lot of these topics are in our workplace and harassment, but we are seeing a higher level of incivility. So I think these are very relevant and timely topics to have as the discussion. So the training would include the education, discussions, case studies, and there is a test. So the preferred pricing and the total cost would be $1,950 plus the traveling costs.
Okay, any questions? Councilor Corbett?
Just a question on, it's great that there's 2 sessions. It says one's for staff, which I assume would happen during a day, but because, and the other for the firefighters, but because our firefighters are volunteer, if they're scheduling conflicts, would you allow them to attend during the session during the day?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, any further questions? Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor McGuinness, that council accepts a quote from Peace and Associates for mandatory workplace training for all staff in the amount of $1,950 plus travel disbursements. All in favor? Carry. Next, we have adoption of committee minutes and motions. Corporate Services Committee, there's none for this session. Emergency Services Committee, December 16th meeting, 2024. And there's nothing for that. Then we have the Planning Advisory Committee. We did have 2 meetings, December the 10th, 2024 and January 7th, 2025. And we do have a motion. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGuinness. Whereas the Planning Advisory Committee recommended that the proposed bylaw amendment to comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-49, prepared by staff in consultation with the Planning Advisory Committee, be it forwarded to council for further review and consideration as its next scheduled meeting. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation. Any comments or?
I'll just make a comment if I could, your worship, and it's just a note of thanks. I said it at the committee meeting, but I'll say it here in front of council that the Planning Advisory Committee did a lot of heavy lifting on this. There was a series of long meetings that and extensive conversations on a number of the topics. So it's just a word of thanks to the committee members for the work that they've done.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the Recreation Committee. And I do have a question about that meeting. But there is a motion and the motion is for moved by Councillor McGuinness, second by Councillor Corbett. Whereas the Recreation and Fitness Committee recommended to council that the Township of Bonfield apply for the TD Friends of the Environment Foundation grant in the amount of $7,443.66, of which the township's cost will be zero for new planters, soil, and other gardening materials for the community garden. Be it hereby resolved, the council approves of this recommendation. Any questions?
Sorry, I was ready to vote. No question.
No question. I have a question. Is that strictly for the community garden, or there's nothing for the parks, or it's just the community garden?
Just a community garden, because that's all the grant's good for.
Okay.
So can I ask, like, what's a community garden? I just moved back to Bonfield now, so community garden is which part of Bonfield?
Sorry.
The community garden is which part of Bonfield?
Yeah.
It's right here in town
Okay,
on Gagne Street.
okay.
All in favor? Carried. No, I have a question about the minutes. The comments again, and I will lobby until Canada Day is over, that where I see that the fireworks, the comments in there are for the Labor Day weekend and nothing for Canada Day. And talk and comments about the 2024, we'll go into that, the 2025, and possibly 2026. And I firmly believe that we should have something for Canada Day, where the funds were allotted in the beginning was for Canada Day. And now through the Recreation Committee, it's going to the Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend, that usually the Labor Day is put on by the Labor Council, not the municipalities. And I strongly object to no fireworks for Canada Day. Canada Day covers our whole country. We celebrate our country. We are proud Canadians, and I would like to see fireworks for Canada Day. And I would like the motion to come back to council. If the whole council decides they want it for Labor Day weekend, I have no control over that, but I'm putting my opinion out here that I would like to see something for Canada Day. When I see those little kids running around here and they just love Canada Day, they carry the flags, and there were young kids disappointed last year when there was no Canada Day fireworks. So that's my opinion, and I guess we can wait and see what comes from the Recreation Committee afterwards. And then next we have Police Services Board, and there's nothing here. We don't have anything for this session. And then we have items for council discussion.
Sorry, your worship. There's one motion from recreation. After the one for the grant, there's
After
another
the
one.
for grant. Oh, for the agenda, for
Yep.
their agenda.
Yep.
Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Featherstone, that council accept the proposed 2025 Recreation Committee meeting schedule as stated in the January 7, 2025 Recreation Committee minutes. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a motion for council discussion, and that's to transfer the 2024 accumulated surplus funds. And moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark, that council hereby authorizes a transfer of any accumulated surplus identified in the 2024 audit, as well as any operating surplus identified in the 2024 operating year to the working capital reserve. Do you have any comments, Uncle? No? No?
No, so we do have a policy, a long-term financing policy, and this is a provision within that this is done every year.
Okay. Any question? No?
I did
All
have
in
a
favor?
question. You-
All in
Sorry.
favor?
The audience isn't allowed to speak.
Okay, my apologies.
Sorry. Did you call all in favor?
I, they won't answer me.
Oh,
All in
sorry.
favor
Oh,
for the
sorry.
third time? Carried. There. Next, we have the council meeting dates. Okay, that's just information.
There's a motion
There's
to
a motion.
accept.
Pardon?
There is a motion for adoption. And then we can post that on our website and we'll make sure that everyone's aware. There's 2 notes at the bottom though. For July, August, and December, there will only be 1 meeting in the month. And then Wednesday, for November
Okay.
11th is Remembrance Day, so we would like to move that to November 12th on the Wednesday, if that works for council as well.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor McGinnis. The council hereby approves the 2025 council meeting schedule as attached, and that meetings may be canceled and special meetings scheduled when needed. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have resolutions to be considered for adoption. And the next resolution is to authorize temporary borrowing. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Clark. The Council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-01, being a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Carried. Our next motion is move to provide for interim tax levy for 2025. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, second by Councillor Corbett, that Council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-02, being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy for the year 2025 as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a bylaw to appoint a committee of adjustment. Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark, that the Council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-03, being a bylaw to constitute and appoint a committee of adjustment for the municipality as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of January 2025. Any question? All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a bylaw for a fire protection grant agreement. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor Corbett, that council for the township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-05, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with the province of Ontario as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed the 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a bylaw for a livestock valuer agreement. Moved by Councillor Featherstone, second by Councillor McGuinness. The council for the township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-06, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Pauline Carmichael to provide livestock valuer services as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of January 2025. Any question? All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a motion for the city of North Bay for us to participate in the 2025 Household Hazardous Waste Program. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor McGuinness, that the council of the township of Bonfield recommends continuing participating in the Household Hazardous Waste Program with the city of North Bay for the year 2025 at the cost of $4,320. Does anybody want to speak to that? For the people that they know where this is?
I believe that the hazmat is on the train station road in North Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
off of Seymour.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn in where the bus
Right by the
station is.
station.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, there really, yeah.
That's where you go.
Wasn't prepared to speak to, but it's there, and so this allows us as anyone from a resident of Bonfield to be able to go there and drop off their hazardous waste, their oil paints, that kind of stuff. They can go and drop it off there.
And it is promoted in our welcome package and part of our landfill site flyer. There's information in there as well that our residents can obtain.
You just have to check the open days.
Yes.
So just, because
Yep.
got some funny days open.
Changes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a note if I could, your worship. I'll just note that the cost of $4,320 is based on a formula, which is the total dwellings of 1,080 times the cost per dwelling of $4 is how that is calculated. So reasonable per household. So
All in favor? Carried. Next we have the Nosbonsine OPP Board minutes, appointment of community rep. Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark. Whereas the Lake Nosbonsine OPP Detachment Board Community Representative Advisory Committee recommended to council for the Township of Bonfield, council for the Township of Chisholm, and council for the Municipality of East Ferris, that Brian Lynn be appointed to the Lake Nosbonsine OPP Detachment Board as a community member who is neither a member of the council nor an employee of any of the 3 municipalities, jointly appointed by all of the above municipalities, and that this appointment shall be for the remaining 2022 to 2026 term of council. Be it hereby resolved that council of the Township of Bonfield approves of this recommendation. Any question? All in favor? Carried. I just wanted to say that we are still waiting for an appointment for the provincial appointee as well, and the secretary was looking into that. Next, we have the Township of Papineau Cameron. Pre-approved affordable housing plans, and nobody moved it or seconded.
So,
Moved by Councillor Corbett, second by Councillor Clark, that the Council for the Township of Bonneville supports the Township of Papineau Cameron, calling on the Ontario government to amend the Ontario Building Code to include provisions for pre-approved affordable housing plans specifically aimed at supporting low-income and homeless individuals, with provisions that zoning bylaws are adhered to, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and MPP Fideli. All in favor? Carried. Next, we have 2025 municipal and cyber insurance quotes. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Corbett, that council accepts the quotes for municipal and cyber insurance for the year 2025 in the amount of $185,978.68. Any comments or any questions?
Did we get a few quotes for this? This was the one that we are accepting?
Yeah, so insurance typically, it's a very big project to do insurance quotes, so we've not been directed to do to go out for quotes. There's about 3 or 4 municipal insurance companies in Ontario who do quotes for municipalities, so we have not done that in a number of years. This one is only a 5% increase, but in the last couple of years have been like 11 and 17%, so I think that the market's starting to stabilize a little, but we've not contacted them.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next we have, this is correspondence and we have the revised annual OPP billing letter. Any comments on that, CEO or Uncle?
No, I think it's been straightforward in here.
Yeah.
I think I've brought the OPP budget to council already.
The next we have, then we have the MPAC annual levy and also the North Bay Parry Sound District Help Unit, their levy. And then we have the Castle Home Board minutes. And I just want to say the charts were, I don't know if anybody else found the chart so hard you couldn't read them at all. I couldn't make a figure of, I have no problem seeing up close, but they were useless in there. I don't know if anybody else had the same problem.
No, they were too small.
Maybe if they're going to give us that information, we should be able to read it. Next we have the library minutes. Councillor Clark.
Matt, we had our first meeting for 2025 and, as for the outstanding work that they do, we had a rundown of 2024. So they've done a lot of programming and they're just continuing with that this year.
Thank you. Next, there's correspondence for support. We have from Phenom, Financial Sustainability and Child Welfare, and the Township of Puslinch Council Resolution regarding the pre-budget announcement. Township of Tarbot objecting to the increased 2024 levy imposed by MPAC. And the Town of Kearney letter to MMAH rural planning policies. And I guess we refer all of these for support.
I'm fine with them all.
Okay. Correspondence moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that council receives the correspondence circulated with the agenda of January 14th, 2025. All in favor? Carried.
Your worship. I thought we were gonna touch on and I must have missed this, but I thought we were gonna touch more on the planning and development. I had a question in the planning act that was discussed with Councillor Corbett's
Oh, okay.
planning advisory. So I read through this and I don't feel a hunt camp should be on 0.1 of a hectare. That's only 2.2 acres. I think it needs to be on like 10 hectares minimum, which is like 25 acres. I mean,
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
Fair point. Just so you know, and sorry, I'm sure you already are aware, but just to share with the public, the process that this will go through is it needs to pass or potentially first reading, and then there's a public consultation piece, and then it comes back and council can make amendments to the bylaws they see fit before it's called for a vote. That's basically the process.
Yeah, we'll go to that public meeting. I know that Simon did have a report for tonight, so.
Oh,
we could
perfect.
have him-
well, yeah, I didn't know if we were winding down here. I didn't know if Simon was speaking to it or not. I just wanted-
Yeah, and I
wanted
didn't want
get
you
it
to
out.
think that it was like fait accompli at all. Like I want you to know.
Right,
Yeah,
no, that's fine. I just wanted to, yeah,
I think
sure,
it's
thank you.
important.
Yeah. So you have the draft bylaw with your paper?
Yep,
And council's supposed to look over it, and if they have any questions, to mark it up, and then before we take it to the open meeting at the township hall.
Okay.
I want to ask you that the question you're saying it should be only so big. Are you thinking that if they have a hunt camp, they have to hunt on that property?
yeah, I think it should be a minimum of 10 hectares. I mean, they can hunt wherever, but I mean, if we put it on 1 hectare, we could be burning up building lots for hunt camps instead of houses.
Okay.
I just, you can't really hunt on 2 acres. I mean, I understand we have lots of crown land around, but
Yeah, that's what I wondered, if they just had the hunt camp to stay in and
yeah,
not necessarily be hunting on that property.
You want to say something?
Sorry, excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold. When we were having conversations in different advisory committee sessions, yeah, I was of the opinion that it should be larger as well, but the feedback that we received from members was to Navi's point that, there is other crown lands as for accessible land within facilities, so maybe a balance could be struck between the 10 hectares and the 1 hectare, 5 hectares. I'm always for compromise, so, but yeah, we can feed that into whatever recommendations are made by council.
okay, no, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So, so next we come to the question period. We
None.
were giving,
I just wanted to say I received no questions.
please don't.
I received no questions.
Okay, and that's what I wanted to ask. We said we were going to try it till the 31st of December. Is there any thought about changing something in it that may possibly make it easier with less restrictions, or is there anything that's it, cut and dried? That's a question period. The rules are that way, and we're not changing them. Like when we came up, we said December 31st. If it's not working, then I don't know, are we going to remove it? Are we going to change it, or what are we going to do?
I think
And
that's,
I'm not asking for a response now. I'm just asking those questions. Maybe think about it.
Yeah, well, I think it's a council discussion. I've received zero feedback at all. So I would have nothing to suggest that it's not working, other than people are just not making the call, because I've not received comments in the positive or the negative. from
Yeah,
the
I
municipal
see
board.
the city of North Bay, we're thinking of putting the question period on as well. So I don't know what became of that. I didn't follow up on it, so, okay. No closed session. Next, we have the confirmatory bylaw.
Sorry, your worship, can I just back up for 1 second?
Sure.
I think it's fair, and maybe what we should ask her is a report. I know you have received no feedback, but you ask a valid question, your worship. I think it actually should come back for the conversation. Which would probably be triggered by a report from the CAO to talk about question period, if we've seen any other municipalities advance question periods, if they've seen success. And then we can maybe revisit that conversation about if it's working for us, if it's working for the public. I know we have received nothing, but is that because it's not working or because just people are?
Yeah.
Right,
And hopefully this will help the community if they do have
absolutely.
any feedback, please give it to us.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
also sent you an email today with a link to another community who did have question period, and you'll note on that one, it did not go well. So I encourage you to click on that link as well.
Great.
Okay. So we can talk about it again. Moved by Councillor McGinnis, second by Councillor Corbett, that the council for the township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-04 to confirm the proceedings of council from December 10th, 2024 to January 14th, 2025, as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 14th day of January 2025. All in favor? Carried.
Sorry, 7:34. Oh, okay.
7 what?
34.
Next, we have the adjournment. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Featherstone, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:34 PM. All in favor? Carried. I have to remember to say good night, everybody. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.